Hi there, welcome to Hey Sound Guy, the podcast where I will be peeking behind the curtain of the wonderful world of music. Each week, I will be interviewing musicians, sound engineers, and other industry professionals, and we'll get to have a chat about what they do. Now, my next guest is a good friend of mine and a sound engineer. We work together at Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club. He also manages bands like Francobollo and Benin City, and he studied at the University of Westminster. He's run some various open mic nights and various other things. A very interesting story. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my friend Simba Bhebhe.
Hello.
Hi, Sound Guy.
How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, very well, very well.
First of all, thank you very much for coming. I really do appreciate it. I know it's far to come, but it's
No worries at all.
It's hopefully you're gonna have as much fun as I am.
Yep, sweet.
So, you work with me at Ronnie Scott's, and we've known each other quite a while now.
That's right.
7 years?
Yeah, about 7 years.
About 7 years, right. But when you sent me your CV, I saw that I know almost nothing about you. So can you start by just telling us a little bit about yourself? Maybe start by who you work for, what things you've done, how you started.
Okay, yeah, cool. Well, I'm a full-time sound engineer now. Over the years, I've promoted, played session bass and guitar for various projects, done quite a bit of touring across Europe and America, that kind of thing. Started out in a church in Milton Keynes, where I'd mix the worship band on Sunday mornings. 200 or 300 people there, the choir, drums, bass, guitar, like full back line. So that was my first kind of introduction into live mixing. Whilst sort of playing in bands, had my own band, and as a songwriter and lead singer and guitarist. I went to uni, started an open mic there. I'd mix the nights on the Akai multi-track recorder that I'd bought. And then after uni, I just searched on the internet actually to find who was kind of the most prolific open mic promoter. Went up to him one night and said I want to promote nights, and we started off an evening in Chalk Farm in a place called Monkey Chews, which isn't there anymore. But we put on early shows by lots of people that went on to get signed, like just Jessie J, Ed Sheeran, Ellie Goulding, quite a few of these guys, sort of KG Elephant, sort of like came through and played for us before they got their deals. From there, one of the bands that came to an open mic when they just moved from Sweden, called Francobollo.
I've heard of Francobollo.
Francobollo, yeah.
Cool.
Me and my friend took them on as managers. That was my first time managing. That was about 7 or 8 years ago, just before I started at Ronnie's actually. And so I've been working with them since. Made a record with Charlie Andrews, who's Alt J's producer, and signed to his label a couple of years ago. They're just finishing writing their second album. I've got another couple of artists as well on my management roster. But yeah, when I was in Chalk Farm at Monkey Chews, I started working in all the small kind of pub sort of venues. That's where I kind of really sort of started to cut my teeth, sort of earning sort of £40 here, £50 here, two, 3 band bills. And worked my way up to the point where I was confident enough to sort of start working properly at Ronnie Scott's. And I'm working a few places around town, a hotel called The Curtain in Shoreditch, the Colombo Group venues, the Old Queen's Head and Camden Assembly and the Blues Kitchen, and wherever the work is, basically.
Of course, as we all do as freelancers,
Yeah.
we're kind of like whores. We know we go where the money is.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. That's awesome, man. So, starting in the church, how did you get into that? How did you do the sound? How did you start doing the sound in the church?
I was singing in the choir, and on Tuesday night we'd
soprano, right?
Indeed. Yeah, singing in the choir, and I think I played as well a bit with the band. And just knew the sound engineer.
Did they play with you as well?
Fortunately, not that kind of
it's
church. It's
not a Catholic church.
No, it's not. Pentecostal, so they didn't see any of that happening, fortunately. I'd sit up in the sound booth and watch the sound guy, and then eventually, I think I just asked. I mean, it was quite a lot of responsibility to give like a 14, 15-year-old sort of like mixing a whole. But I don't know, when you're a kid, you're kind of fearless. I was just like, cool, whatever, and just did it.
Yeah. And you're like, if I fuck it up, God's going to forgive me, so it's fine.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. And they're not paying me, so whatever, fuck them.
Exactly.
And like I say, I didn't really sort of like mix or think that I'd end up mixing as a job. I wanted to be in a band, really. Yeah. And so at the same church, there were some guys that started a Christian contemporary music rock band. All right. Rock and roll rock music with Jesus lyrics. And they got signed by a label in Nashville. So that's how I ended up cutting. And, we had tour support and stuff, made an album at the Manor in Milton Keynes, and ended up sort of touring. I'll get picked up in a transit van from school to go across the ferry, on the ferry and go and tour Europe and
Brilliant.
Holland and
Fantastic.
France and all that kind of stuff when I was 15, 16.
Wow.
I mean, I've always just been in music in various kind of roles.
So you were playing guitar.
I was playing guitar with them. Yeah.
So when did you start playing guitar?
I started playing guitar, I think when I was about 10 or 11 or 12.
Wow. Right.
I think I'd always sort of like been musical and did piano lessons from quite young.
Amazing.
I think I learned trumpet for a bit, violin. Yeah,
fantastic, man. Wow. So, is your family very musical oriented?
Yeah, we are. My dad, in an older church, he sang. Well, he actually used to sing with like a Ladysmith back in Mombasa.
All right.
As well.
Wow.
Like friends with those guys, and my mum dances. Like my sister's a dancer. She was in Fella, and she's over in Dublin right now. My brother's a drummer in Rudimental. And so we're all kind of
fantastic. Wow, that's incredible. So you did the touring in Europe with this Christian rock band, and then I take it you were out of school by then, or no? No. Oh, you said you get picked up from school. Friday afternoon. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Sorry, Simba's gonna miss class. He's gotta go. Spread the word.
Yeah, it was quite cool. The head was quite creative, and she taught drama, so I think they were quite encouraging of things like that. Wow. And I've ended up working in a career in music. So
man, what a life, right? What a life.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So you did you keep doing the sound at the church?
No,
during that time where you sort of
started drinking and you know what I mean, like
drinking girls and the guitarists.
Kind of stuff. So church was out the window.
Fantastic.
But yeah, no, I like I say, at uni I started up an open mic, and that was kind of where I started mixing again. And after uni, I think I decided that I wanted to work in music, and as opposed to being in a band, the sound engineer always gets paid. I noticed that.
That is true. So I was even though at the beginning it's not very much.
No, exactly.
Where did you go? Where did you go to uni, and what did you study?
A course called Commercial Music at Westminster University.
Is this the one in sort of
Harrow?
Yeah, right. Harrow. Yeah. I studied at a division of theirs in Paddington, City of Westminster College.
Yeah.
So we went up to the Harrow campus once or twice and just got blasted.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun course actually. I had a lot of fun at uni.
So you that's everybody does, I think. So you had your eye on music ever since you could walk, basically.
Yeah, 100%.
That's great. That's fantastic. Always. It's just nice to hear when it works out. When you go stick to the path. It seems to be quite a running theme. Everybody that I've spoken to so far, and most of the people I know, they did go this route of the bug bit, and then they started making little progressions here and there, and doing. You can leave that on the table if you want. It doesn't matter. I made this out of pallets. Okay, cool. I'm not fucking precious about it at all.
Lovely. All right, cool.
Yeah. No, the street's been good to me. There's pallets everywhere, so I just make things out of pallets, like the shelves and the all the shelves and things.
Upcycling.
That's it,
like
mate.
it.
Yeah. So many good ways wood going to waste. Where basically people they start and they've got their eye on the prize and they're determined. And I suppose those are the survivors of the industry.
No, totally.
Because people they might get discouraged easily. I see that a lot, sort of in the younger generations, where if something's not going to happen straight away, then they're not happy, and then then there's the need for a safe space.
I mean, my mum was always really encouraging as well on the music kind of side of things, so I think that helped.
That's great. That's great.
There was never any pressure.
And she dances.
Well, she doesn't dance professionally. You know what I mean? Like,
hey,
yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
As long as you enjoy it, man.
Indeed. Yeah.
That's great. So you went to uni. Was it a degree that you did?
Yeah.
Did you say
that's right.
creative?
Commercial music.
Commercial music. Okay.
It was a fun course. Half sort of studio work, half kind of practical stuff like writing songs in songwriting circles and putting on performances. Like lots of different facets of like the modern music industry. Some like sort of old school, quite big A&R guys, but like the course leaders. And quite a few of the guys that I was on the course with went on to do well in music. Like the guys from Rudimental, the two of the main guys that they studied in the year below me, I think. Okay. The Feeling, that they were like the covers band. They used to play in he's playing one of the venues. So yeah, there's quite a few people that sort of went on to do well.
That's
great. I've never ever been asked about my degree for any jobs. Like,
no, neither.
Never.
When you
asked me to do a CV today, I was like, I've never actually done a CV.
Yeah, I mean the CV is really just so I get a little bit more talking points because, like I said, we know each other and we've worked together for a while. But I know you manage bands, and I know you're a musician, and I know you personally as an engineer at Ronnie's. And so but I just want to get the broader spectrum. So was this a 2-year degree or something?
3 years. 3-year BA.
Full BA degree. Fantastic. Yeah. And that was in Milton Keynes, you said?
No, that was Westminster.
Well,
yeah.
Of course, in Harrow. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you stay there as well? Did you?
Yeah.
All right.
I did.
Proper student life.
Yeah.
Nice.
The whole shebang. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
lived
great.
Up in Harrow on the Hill. On the same street as Cotton, actually.
Miles's dad lives close to there. Right?
Fantastic.
Yeah,
cool.
He's just around the corner from there. I went there many times. Actually, the first time when I started my sort of career was there because it was a gig for the National Youth Jazz Orchestra that I'd got through college. I think my whole college experience going into it, into a full-time course, I was initially a little bit disappointed because it was Monday was a full day, Tuesday was a morning, and Thursday was an afternoon. Yeah. And for me, full-time means 5 days a week, full-on proper stuff. And we had some good tutors. One of the guys was doing his doctorate in acoustics, so for that he needed to teach. And I don't think he was into it, but he was very intelligent and he was very good. But the guy that got me the gig with the National Youth Jazz, let's try that again, the National Youth Jazz Orchestra. I always fall over that. Anyway, he's a drummer as well, and Joe Clancy. He was always very keen and he helped out. Yeah. And I think the only thing that I got out of going to college for 2 years was getting that one hookup with NYJO, the National Youth Jazz Orchestra, meeting Tim. And by fortune, Tim was under the weather, not feeling well, and he asked me, "Can you mix the gig?" And I did, and he was happy. And then Miles's dad, Bill Ashton, he was happy, and they started getting me in there basically straight away, which was fantastic. And then because Miles also works at Ronnie's, as soon as I finished my degree, Bill gave me a call and he said, "Listen, why don't you go to Ronnie Scott's? They might be looking for an engineer there. Go meet Miles and all that." And the rest is history.
I was introduced to Danny first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to
Those fun times.
because I knew Nick for our handyman just from going out in Camden. You know what I mean? Because he was playing in bands, and we just I think we just got chatting one night in Proud Galleries, and ended up just changing numbers and meeting up.
Fantastic.
With our respective girlfriends, just going out and just getting drunk, watching bands, and he introduced me to Danny once, but it was actually a bit early for me, and I think it was like a year or two later I went back to him and said, and then Miles was in the position by then. And that's kind of how I got my got my foot in.
I think it was maybe right place, right time for me, but that being said as well, because how it had happened that I got the gig with Nigel was that we'd had some elective modules, and one of them, the last 6 months of the 2-year degree, was one of the choices were work experience, and none of the kids in my class, because they were all a little bit younger than me. I was 24 at the time.
Okay, yeah.
None of them wanted to do this work experience. They're like, we're not going to go work for free. I'm like, you guys are idiots, right? The college will actually provide you with places to go and do work experience, and you're going to get paid, not paid, but you're going to get credits towards your degree for this. How easy is that?
Yeah.
And they didn't want to do that. We ended up doing sound for film, and I went to Joe, as I mentioned before, and I said to him, listen, man, if you've got anything, let me know, and I'm up for it. Even if I don't get, I don't care. I'll do it outside the college, if you will.
Yeah.
Get me hooked up, and and that was the first one he got me connected with. And to my knowledge, I'm the only one from my course that's actually working in sound.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
And I think maybe that goes to show for being willing to do the shit jobs, and being willing to go that extra mile, and getting yourself out there, and
100%,
long days, and for a lot of the times not a lot of pay in the beginning
100%.
Until you stick it through, and then once you've made a name, or somebody knows who you are, then it gets better and it gets easier.
Yeah, exactly. Then you have some value you can cash in. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
later down the line. Yeah, I mean, I remember I think one of the reasons I do management as well is one day one of my tutors just stopped me in the hallway and was like, "Oh, one of our old students is looking for like an intern," and this was he was working at Sony ATV at the time, and that was really fun. This was back in the day when people were still cassette demos, and so he'd kind of just give me a massive box of demos that had been sent in, and he'd be like, listen to these and then tell me if there's anything I should bother listening to. So I was the first, so for like a few weeks, I was the first port of call for all these people's dreams. Sony TV Publishing.
Sorry for everybody that didn't get picked. This is the guy.
I genuinely, we wouldn't listen to the ones I said don't listen to. Yeah. And we're still friends today. He's like now one of the head A&Rs at Columbia.
That's
and
great.
So with the bands I manage, I can still, send stuff through to him, and it gave me a real kind of taste. Like I went to the Brit Awards. I sat at a table with A1 when they went.
Right, I don't know who they are, but that's cool.
And they brought that, and I got to hold the Brit for a second.
Photo opportunity.
Yeah, I had some fun.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and it kind of gave me a little taste of of the culture. And I haven't really made any money from the management yet, but it's like I can afford to live for the sound engineering, and I can still sort of manage the bands. Benin City, we should be signing a publishing deal soon with a really good sync agent who's actually had some success. So through sticking it out, eventually I think some things will come back.
Perseverance, man. I think it's one of the themes that I just keep hammering on, and I just keep repeating over and over. It's about perseverance, and it's about sticking it out. And I think that's also, it's a good sort of separating the corn from the chaff, getting those that aren't going to make it anyway. They just sort of like wither away and go do something else.
No, totally.
And the guys who are willing to do it, they stick it out, and they get to a place where they can then make some money and do this as a living.
I think
because it's a
it's
great fucking life, man. It's a great life. It's got its pros and its cons, obviously. Not sleeping, getting home at 5 a.m. I have to get up at 7, to take my daughter to school and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's I don't think I would change it. No. So let's get back to you were running the open mic in a venue, and then from there you were doing the sound as well, and you were promoting, and you were doing everything.
Yeah. At the open mic, I'd introduce the acts and mix them and promote the night, all those kind of things. That kind of got me, introduced to lots of musicians. Again, on the way up, I gave Wolf Alice their first ever kind of gig. A band called Wolf Alice.
Okay. Wolf Alice. Yeah. Wow.
They're like
right.
Alexandra Palace size now, but I bumped into them and they were like, "Oh, do you remember you gave us our first gig?" I'd forgotten because like the guitarist and the lead singer, they'd come and they'd played some songs, and I said to them, "Your songs are really good. Do you want to come back and play like a set next week?" And that was the first gig.
Wow.
They had, and another guy, another guy called Bruno Major, he's like Coco kind of size now. Yeah. He used to come by and play most weeks, and it was really good fun. It was nice, even the people that were a bit crap, because of encouraging them. I think it's just good for people to just get out and play music.
Yeah, man. Again, even like from a musician standpoint, just keep at it. Keep at it. Yeah. Some of the best bands, I think, like Alice in Chains, their first gig, they were fucking booed off stage. Right? People were like, "What is this?" Because grunge was so new, and I'm not, they obviously, along with the Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden, they started a new movement, as did Metallica back in the day with the sort of new metal, not new metal, but the new offspring of the new wave of heavy metal. But yeah, it's really just sticking it out and growing into thick skin.
No, totally.
And sticking it out. So wow, that's fantastic.
It's true. It's like a lot of these the TV shows with Pop Idols and X Factors. They kind of
stand it.
They give a really warped. They give a really warped view of the reality of it, because most of these guys, like I say, that are now at the level where they're headlining Ali Pali or selling out Coco.
They got nowhere with those.
This was like 8 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, and it might look like an overnight success, but these guys were first kind of noticed, or I first saw them like 8 years ago, and it's taken them 6-7 years to get to the point where they're being signed and releasing records. And by the second album, selling tens or hundreds of thousands of records and playing these size venues. It kind of looks quick, but it's
absolutely not. No, 100%. So, and everybody, I think it's the trend seems to be people's attention spans are getting a little bit shorter with YouTube and Instagram and tweeting and this and that, and it just rolls over so quickly, and in their eyes everything needs to happen really quickly, and there's no longevity even the people who win these X Factors and all these things, they kind of do something and then they go away.
There's very few of them that are still.
Yeah. I think maybe they get disillusioned as well by the whole thing, because they didn't know exactly what fame entails and what work it actually entails to keep this thing going.
And the deals aren't the best at all.
I bet they're not. I'm sure Simon Cowell's just like rolling in his fucking pound coins everywhere, and these guys are living out of tins of beans. I don't know exactly what it's like, but I'm sure that they're not on the best deals.
No.
Right. So you did the open mic thing, and that was all the way through college. And then what was the next step? You started grabbing some bands and managing them, or
There's a couple of bands that I managed for a while, and then we parted ways, and they split up. Francobollo I've stuck with for the past 8 years. A band called Benin City, who took on early last year, actually, just before South by Southwest, so last spring.
Did you go out there?
Yeah, went out there with Francobollo. They were showcasing out there, which was really great. I'd played at South by Southwest actually before with my friend Lucy Rose. It's a great festival. And then just taking on a new singer-songwriter called HD Houseman, sort of in the national Leonard Cohen kind of vein things. So really good. Yeah, really exciting. So
love Leonard Cohen, man.
Just working on developing him at the minute, and
cool.
He's delivering songs, and looking to do a band soon.
Solo artist?
Yeah, he's a solo artist.
Okay.
Yeah. He was in a band that got so like a bit of buzz. But yeah, that band is disbanded now, and he's going
doing his
solo.
thing.
Yeah.
Fair enough. He's got the will to keep it going.
Yeah.
Maybe the other guys do as well, but who knows?
Yeah, totally.
It's how bands form and split up. It's kind of beyond me.
It's very hard.
It is. It's a hard gig, man. even really good bands.
Yeah.
Really good, talented musicians. They sometimes just don't get a break, or it could be a combination of things: bad management, bad luck. Just
so many things have to align.
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely fate.
There'll be so many amazing bands who simply didn't get the chance because they weren't of the time. You know what I mean? Like because they weren't what A&Rs
they were
either
ahead of the time or
behind,
just slightly behind, or
exactly.
They were 26 years old and A&R people weren't under 25s.
Yeah. Well, that's not so true anymore. I think
no, not anymore. No, it's not
I
anymore.
think you see. I think it is about the songs really. But yeah, so much stuff has to kind of happen.
Hopefully, it's going back to the songs, because it seems that image has overtaken talent by a country mile in the recent years.
Image doesn't really make you money without the songs.
It doesn't. But
the value is in syncs and you know what I mean, all that kind of thing. You don't see the artist, but they're making most of the money from when you hear them in the background on an advert or in a movie. But that's not just Image can't do that.
No, but they are all and I'm guilty of that. When I started this thing, I had to open a Twitter account and an Instagram account, and we get back, because I was off Facebook for a good 2.5 years. Social media for me it just feels very plastic, and all the duck lips, and I just want to smack them. Fucking selfies. What a vain thing to do. Anyway, so right, you started managing these bands, and then you said that you after that you were playing in another band again.
Yeah, my friend Lucy Rose. Again, she was someone that I met when she first moved to London. She was playing an open mic that I was running down in Angel Way, and she sort of come back, and I met her manager, who also still manages Razorlight. They've parted ways since, but yeah, she sort of built up a grassroots kind of following with the management putting out records, and I play bass on the early demos and all that kind of stuff. And she eventually got a deal with Columbia, actually, and then we had the tour support. So we did some fun touring, went out on the road with City in Colour, toured quite a lot with Counting Crows.
I love Counting Crows.
Yeah, got to in London. I went to the theatre with Adam Duritz. So we went on a mandate to go and see his friend play in a play, which is quite fun, because I've been a massive fan of the Counting Crows since I was at uni. I remember when someone played August and everything after, and I fell in love with the band. So that was quite fun to become friends with Adam.
Wow.
And then tour a lot. Tour a lot with those guys. That was me playing bass for Lucy. Yeah, she's about to play her biggest headline show at the Barbican.
Wow, so, fantastic! Yeah. That's great.
From the open mic to the Barbican, 8 years again.
Yeah, it just takes the time. And if you're willing to put the work in, then you'll get there. If not, then see you later.
Yeah,
that's great. Then, so you got your degree. I take it.
Yep.
You got it. Good.
Yeah.
Which also
just about.
You got it. Well, I mean, what you got out of that experience, the money can't buy that, and the piece of paper that you get from having a degree really doesn't.
No, totally
doesn't do it any justice.
It's very much about the experiences.
No, I think it's very important, hands-on experience, and the sort of real world application of your skills. Because you need to be proactive. Doesn't matter how good you are as an engineer or even as a musician. If you just keep it to yourself, who's going to know? And if you don't go out there and try and sometimes fail and make mistakes and stand up and go again, then if you don't have that perseverance, then it's just not really going to go anywhere, is it?
Yeah, I mean, like, so many after uni, straight after uni, when I was 21, I had to go home, just for money. I couldn't just move straight into London. But after a year, I was working in a trainer shop in Milton Keynes. I got a transfer to one of the stores in London and moved back. So and I was working like full time, as well as doing these nights. So I would basically be at work from like 9 a.m. and then I had a really cool boss who was also artistic. So he knew that I had like these gigs I was putting on a Thursday. So he'd always put me on an early shift.
Oh, that's very
And so
cool.
I would just be like, I'll be there at 9. I'd run out of there at 4, and then I'd put on the night until 12. Then I'd be back at work. You know what I mean? It was pretty much just full on.
Yeah.
Until I could kind of change from working in the shop to just doing sound, really. So there was like quite a few years where it was pretty just full on, really.
Hard times, yeah.
Because I liked going out as well. So of
course, who doesn't?
With it being the music thing.
Yeah. It's a social job. It's great. I mean, with that also comes its cons.
Yeah.
People fall into the wrong road sometimes.
Yeah.
It's so the sorry, you can hear the kids. You started working in Camden at some venues there.
Yeah,
that was the first one after the the open mics and the trainer shop.
So it's kind of around the same time. Places like the Enterprise, the Monarch, the Barfly, which is now Camden Assembly, all the kind of 120 cap sort of like little rooms around North London, and various bits and bobs. I think I did like sound in little pubs around here as well.
All right,
sometimes.
Fantastic.
Hold on, because the word of mouth thing.
You sometimes work at the Handwell Hootie as well, don't you?
I've done it the last couple of years.
Yeah. That's it's a free festival here in Handwell where they just put on bands in pubs, and it's a good vibe.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's very nice. It's quite a nice area. We're very happy here. I was gonna ask. No, actually, I had in the Barfly because I worked for James McCartney, who's Paul McCartney's son, for a bit, and I think I had the best sort of compliment ever. Did the gig there, and Paul came down and he watched the show with the two sisters, and afterwards I was finishing up, and I was going to go to the dressing room to grab a beer, and I feel someone tug on my arm, and I turn around, and it's Paul McCartney.
Amazing.
And he's like, you're T, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, great job on the sound. It sounded fantastic. I'm like, wow. Thank you.
High praise.
That just made my day. Made my fucking year, to be honest with you.
Yeah. My girlfriend knows James. She's played some gigs with him, actually.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, he's an interesting cat, man. It was that was a lot of fun. A lot of... Yeah, we toured America for 6 weeks, and we only did 15 gigs.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of downtime. I think I ended up spending more money than I made on that trip. It was
call it a holiday.
It was a lot of fun, and I mean we got put up in the grandest hotels.
Amazing.
Like we stayed in the Essex House across the road from Central Park. Wow. In New York, and there was some fun to be had, and we had it all. That was good, fun while it lasted. Right, you did the gigs in Camden at these little places, and then tell me how you got to you met Nick Foot, the handyman at Ronnie Scott's.
Yeah.
And you were hanging out with him, and he introduced you to
Danny
Danny.
Yeah. And that didn't happen. It didn't happen that time round. Then
he was very tight. Like I said before, with me, right place, right time sort of thing. Yeah. Because there were only 4 engineers there. It was Danny, Miles, Ashton, Tim Bray, and Shahan Satis, and then they needed a bitch. Yeah. And I was the bitch.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I did sound checks, and I did the
lates.
Ruby Sings, and no, we didn't have lates then.
Oh,
Back then, it was Mondays to Thursdays was support, main, support, close. So the support band would play before and after, and then it would be done at midnight.
Oh, right, okay.
And then on Fridays and Saturdays it was the support band played, then the main band played, then it was change of house, then the main band played. No, first it was support, then main again. Then they swapped those two around, so it was support, main support.
Right, okay.
And yeah, then that stopped, and then Michael Moenzo came in and started the Late Show.
Right, okay. Yeah.
And
I thought he'd been there forever. Oh.
yeah, well, maybe before it was like that, but then when they changed and they did the refurb, I think there was a lot of things that was up in the air and a lot of things that was being tried and discussed and this and that.
Of course, yeah.
And then it ended up. I think the Late Show only really started, sort of maybe. I'm gonna lie to you now, but it definitely it wasn't like that when I started.
Okay, cool. I did a lot of
Maybe
late when I first started.
2010, 2011 was when it sort of started. I started there in 2008. So, yeah, it was around the 2010, 2011. Yeah, it was when I was halfway through my stint there. I think it's when the Late Show sort of started. And we were all like, what's this finishing at 3 business? But in the end, it worked out. I think it's a fantastic hang. It's great. And you get to see sometimes, even though the main acts are what they are, they're there for a reason because they're good, and they have name and reputation, and they've been around. Sometimes they get new acts in, but sometimes you go to the Late Show and you see the quality of the young musicians, the young jazzers. They are just like, wow,
it's been quite cool seeing them sort of like progress to main show as well. Like,
absolutely.
Sort of like, just sort of coming in their tracksuits and it's going, oh, that kid's really good. And then a few years later, they've got their own like Sunday lunch, or they've got their own late special. Yeah. And like, in a couple of years, a few years, they could be doing their own main shows, and you've seen it. You've seen it every kind of step of the way.
Yeah, it's great. It's
pretty cool. I was in when Stevie Wonder came in as well. That
was you were. That's great. I was there that night, but I was doing. I think I was only doing the sound check shift.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm out of here. And I missed it. Oh, well. So what you going to do?
That was very cool.
Yeah, wow, I can imagine. And he came in and he just played the harmonica, didn't he?
Initially,
and then he jumped on the piano.
Then he jumped on the piano. I walked him up to the piano. Me and his daughter walked him up and sat him down.
Fantastic, fantastic.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great, man.
It's amazing to see him. The fact that he just, you have to guide him because you can't see him. Just to see him sit down and just rip on the piano, it's almost bizarre. You're like, how?
Muscle memory.
Like, how?
Muscle memory.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's the same with. I remember I watched an interview with Jamie Foxx, who played Ray Charles, right?
Yeah.
And when he was getting ready to do this role, he was playing with Ray because Jamie Foxx actually plays the piano. And they were playing, and he made a mistake. And Ray looked over. He's like, "No, why do you want to go and do a thing like that? You just don't make mistakes. You just don't make mistakes. You know where it is, so play it right."
Amazing.
Whoa,
right?
Okay, sorry, sir. But yeah, I mean, we get people like Jose Feliciano, right? Blind guitarist since birth. Yeah. He wasn't a blind guitarist since birth, but he was blind since birth, and then he became a guitarist. So, it's just, I suppose it's just muscle memory, and it's it's fantastic. It's
brilliant
to see the quality of the musicians that we have there, and then sometimes some of them that aren't quite as good, or as good as they think they are.
Yeah, true.
We've had a few of those, haven't we?
100%.
Oh man, I've had once. There was a lady, Brazilian lady, pianist, and I mean I'm not a jazzer, so people get all excited. Oh, this guy's coming in. I'm like, fantastic.
I think it helps.
Awesome, helps not knowing.
Yeah,
probably.
Because there's no kind of like, I'm just like, you're right.
No starstruckness. But I do that. I do that with everybody. For me, it's straight up. Whoever it is, walk up to them and say, "How you doing? I'm T. I'll be your sound
No,
engineer
like,
today.
I think I put a little bit more pressure on myself if it's someone that, you know what I mean? There's something a bit more kind of like, oh, I really want it, you know what I mean? Because you know them and you know what I mean? Like, I think if I just know nothing about them, it literally is, or even if they've won Grammys, or I'm just like, you're right, mate.
Yeah, whatever.
I know nothing about you. Let's just
I
make it
think
sound
the only
good.
person I was ever nervous about was Pee Wee Ellis, because that was the
Okay,
only person
yeah.
that I actually knew, and he turned out to be so cool.
He's
you know,
lovely.
and we're mates. You
Yeah,
know,
I've mixed him twice actually.
yeah,
as well,
he's fantastic. Just so cool. He sat down and I had an SM7 out for him. I was like, oh, I want to get this really nice. And he sat down and he's like, what's this thing you got here? I said, oh, it's this mic. It's beautiful. And it's like, you got a 58?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I put a 58, of course, whatever he wants. He sat down, "Brum, brum, brum. Yeah, you know what you're doing. Sound check's over." I was like, right, there we
cool,
go.
isn't he?
Thanks a lot. Good that you've got the confidence in me. No, anyway, going back to this woman, she was so lovely. Came in, I got there at 2:00 to get it all ready, but it was her on the piano, and that was it.
Yeah.
Didn't sing, or
No,
she did sing.
No band.
No, solo
Just solo
piano,
piano.
and I think she did sing 1 or 2 songs, or she.
Okay. That's rare.
And from 2:00 till 5:15, I was, on my own doing nothing. She came in at 5:15, and I did as I do. And, hey, how you doing? And she just looked at me. She walked straight past me. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun. And she sat down on the piano and she was playing. And I went and I stood next to her with the iPad, and I'm like, is this okay for you? Like, huh. Like that. I'm like, ooh, okay. And her daughter was also her manager. And she's like, running around like a fucking child who just stepped shit on his mother's carpet, And she's like, yeah, everything's fine, everything's good. And she played about half a song. And I said to her, please, can you let me know, are your monitors okay? Does it sound good to you? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
You need to let me know. It's fine. She goes in the dressing room, and it was a Friday, Saturday show. So 2 houses. And the first show went really well, in my opinion. She got a standing ovation, and not once did she look over to me. Not once. And I was like, I sat there like this because I knew what she was going to be like.
Yeah.
From the
moment she walked in. And
blanking me, walking me in, and then grunting at me like I'm some fucking piece of shit. Which I probably am, but still,
you didn't know that.
we need to work together here.
Yeah.
And I go and I'm like so happy, and I walk into the dressing room and I'm like, that was amazing. How was that for you? That was fucking shit. It's fucking shit. I'm like, oh, hold on. Well, please, first of all, don't shout at me.
That kills me.
Don't shout at me. Okay. I think the show was fantastic. You got a standing ovation. If you can't fucking get it right, get another engineer here now. I said, again, you're shouting at me. Don't shout at me, because then I'm going to lose my temper, and I don't want to do that. Okay? Tell me what I can do for you to make this better. Fix it. I said, I can't work with this information.
It makes my blood boil.
I can't work with this information. If you can't fix it, get another engineer. I said, listen, you're stuck with me for the weekend, so pucker up. Okay? You got me, I got you. I'm not happy about it either. Let's work together with this. And then her daughter's, no, it's okay. No, it's okay. And she's like, Mama, you can't talk to,
At least there was a manager that was that was there.
She tried to be. And then the mum shouted at her for about 10 minutes. And I'm like, you sort this out. And then she came out and she apologized. I'm so sorry about my mother. I said, okay, but from now on, you deal with your mother and I deal with you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take this at all, because one, I don't think I deserved it. The whole of Ronnie's got up and there was a standing ovation, which I'd never seen.
Yeah.
To this scale. So that was not so much fun.
I remember one gig where I was working in the Vibe Bar with a singer. I think he did the top line on like a really big 90s sort of like dance, dance song. That was like the pinnacle of her career. But she was something else. She was like She first thing she did was she kicked away the wedge. It was like, I don't like the sound of monitors. Before we'd even done anything, before she'd even heard it. I don't like the sound. I want to hear it through the front of house. So she wanted her monitoring from the front of house. And then she was like, make it sound more blue. Make it sound more blue. So
I've had that same thing.
And I'm just like, that's not a thing. That's literally not a thing.
I got asked to make it purple.
Crazy. Yeah.
I got once, somebody said to me, and I know for a fact that these monitors were fucking sweet, okay, because I tuned the shit out of them. Like, they were just beautiful. And I just gave it all away. I tuned them really nice, Tim and myself. Again, they came in really late, so we had time. It was just a quartet. And the vocalist said to me, these fucking monitors sound like shit. And I just looked at her, I said, tell me what shit sounds like. Can you explain it to me? Because then I can fix it. Okay, if you can't explain to me what shit sounds like, then I can't fix it.
Yeah, exactly,
I can't fix it. I'm sorry. But first of all, let's start over.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm T. And you are? Because it's another one of those, they just walk in and they don't introduce themselves.
Yeah.
Like I'm supposed to know who they are. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't know who you are.
Totally, yeah.
It's just a fucking human thing to do, to say, hey, I'm this.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I don't mind people being like hard work in terms of needing a lot of things done, being particular.
Yeah.
As long as they,
if you know what you're doing,
as long as they can tell me, as long as they tell me what they want, I don't mind spending half an hour on the monitors with them.
100%.
As long as they're explaining to me what they want.
Exactly. And if they can articulate what it is that they want.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly,
if it makes sense what they're doing. 100%. I don't mind spending the time.
Otherwise, it's just
but
frustrating.
yeah, just don't come with that fucking aggressive. You know, as somebody tell, what does shit sound like?
It can be tough. Can't it?
Is it like was it farting? Maybe was it just I don't know. Was it? Yeah. So then you got to Ronnie Scott's and you started working there, and like you said, you did a lot of lates and sound checks and these sorts of things.
Yeah.
At first, and you started working at some other venues in the same time. Some bigger venues.
Well, I've never really sort of like got into. I've never really worked in rooms like over sort of 300, 400, 500 really.
Okay. Have you ever done gigs in like as a one-off or something in bigger rooms?
I'm trying to think. You know,
festivals and things.
Well, not really. I mean, the biggest room I did was a friend of mine works with a charity called Copperfield, and they have a one-day festival called Festival in House of Vans. So we had like Stereophonics came and did a thing.
Is this in Camden?
No, it's London Bridge.
Okay.
The House of Vans.
Okay.
Like everything.
In the tunnel.
Yes, right.
Right.
Who else was there? Slaves. Flight. So and my friend Lucy Rose. So that's kind of the biggest room that I mixed in. I actually really enjoyed it. Actually, having all the headroom, not
nice.
Not doing monitors. You know what I mean? It's something I'd like to get into a bit more. Actually,
makes a difference if you can just concentrate on the front of house.
Yeah,
it really does.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and having a proper big system as well was quite nice. Pushing up faders and just like, feels different. It's good.
It's nice to be able to do that. But on the other hand, I think it's best to be able to do both. You know, because I had a band in at Boysdale in Canary Wharf the other day, and it comes around every now and then where an engineer comes in and he's like, I can't do both front of house and monitors. You're gonna have to run the monitors for me. I'm like, huh?
Like can't. Yeah.
Can't. It's 4 wedges.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. Why are you with this band again? I think it's good to be able to do both. I know people do specialize. Yeah. Obviously, when you get bigger, then you tour around with front of house and a monitor.
Yeah.
It's nice. When I go with Simande around, the majority of the times, I have to take care of both. But when we get to the bigger festivals and the bigger clubs and things, they'll have monitor engineers there. If it's there, I'll use it. Why not?
Yeah, totally.
But if not, you should really be able to do it yourself.
No, absolutely.
Because it's not that much extra work.
No,
to just turn an aux up.
Yeah. And in all the venues that I work in, they're all of the size where there won't be a monitor engineer anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So you did you got Ronnie's and the other places. Is there any sort of special gigs that have stood out for you at Ronnie's apart from helping Stevie on stage?
That was the main one, really, for me.
Did you ever see Dr. Lonnie Smith?
No, I didn't. No,
My
I never got
Lord.
to.
My Lord. I think that's probably one of my favorite gigs
Yeah.
I've seen in there,
Yeah.
without a doubt. It's just something magical about that guy. I love the Hammond organ anyway. And it's very, very magical. I mean, you get some Hammond organ players that are not that nice.
Yeah.
And we know one or two
Who
of
we're
them.
talking about, yeah.
Yeah, he came in, and already we don't have a. I always try and be professional. You know, I'm not just gonna kick off at anybody, or be rude to them, or be unprofessional. Even if I don't like them, I'll definitely be courteous, and I'll within a limit.
Yeah.
If they pass that point, then I'll just say, listen, I'm not dealing with you anymore. You need to speak to somebody else from now on.
Yeah.
But he had something setting it up, and I went into the back to get something, and I came out, and he was doubled over, and he was like, oh. I'm like, are you okay? Because I heard, just before I came out, I heard a thud, and then I heard, ow.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought he'd stubbed his toe or something. Because it
Yeah.
sounded like somebody stubbing their toe. And then
Yeah.
I heard an ow. And then I see him doubled over. And it's like, oh. And I go to him. I said, are you okay? Did you stub your toe? I heard a thud. And he just kept like, oh. I said, can I get you something? Can I get you some ice or something? Because he's still a person. And he's like, oh. I said, can you just stop for a second? Can I help you? It's like, just fuck off, little man. Like, I'm like, okay, you're on your own. From now on, you're on your own. I mean, because he leaves his Hammond there as well, and I've helped him carry it out the next day and stuff like that when I'm in.
Yeah.
You help a guy out. And from now, I just stand there, and because he does it all, like, he insists on doing it himself. So he comes in the next day with his motorized trolley, and he takes it into his van. Now I just stand there looking at him like, hey, man, you made your bed. So, yeah, no, that's not... What the hell? Yeah. Do you still play guitar?
Sometimes I'll go to an open mic. Actually, last night, my flatmate, he's a musician as well. So last night we had a bit of a jam. If I've got a night off during the week, I'll just go on my own to an open mic. 'Cause I still like to kind of be around,
Fantastic, man.
just to be around musicians, and I'll borrow a guitar and have a little play. But I don't have any aspirations to be a professional musician anymore. I feel lucky to have done all the touring that I have. Done.
That's amazing.
I've been around America like three times, I think.
So, what's the favorite show of yours that you played? South by Southwest, or was there any other ones that are particularly
playing Central with my friend Lucy Rose? We with City in Colour, we played a Ryman Auditorium. That was pretty special.
Where is that?
That's in Nashville.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And then played Central Park as well. So that was pretty amazing. Just being in the park and because I do like New York a lot. Yeah, those two gigs.
New York's fantastic.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it myself there. I think everybody was always going on about Los Angeles. I just didn't get on with it. People are just a bit too laid back there, and everybody wants to be a fucking actor.
I mean, it's big, and you have to drive everywhere as well. I like New York because they've got like 24-hour subway, so you can do pretty much whatever you want.
But there's a good vibe there. I've always felt a really good vibe there.
Yeah,
I remember when I think the thing that put me off about Los Angeles was we just arrived we were driving from Washington State, so it's a long fucking drive.
Yeah.
Down south, and we'd arrived we were staying at the Standard Hotel on Hollywood Boulevard. Very nice place. Like I said, with James McCartney, we stayed in all the fucking nice places. And there's these three bellhops, if you will, the guys, the luggage, the guys who take your luggage to your room and all these sorts of things. They don't even let you do it yourself, which I just wanted to do it myself. So then we unloaded the van, and Dan, the manager, went to go park the van up because we couldn't park it right there. And so these guys are there, and one's reading a script, and and they're just chatting, and all these pretty boys, and they're mama. And so guys, we're gonna go up to our rooms now. Can you sort this luggage out? Yeah, sure. We'll do it now. And 2 hours later, I went down, and my fucking luggage is on the side of the street, and these guys are still, not just mine, but James had 2 guitars with him that are virtually priceless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh God.
The other guitarist, Hugh, his was there, plus 2 of his keyboards. Tobias' cymbal case was there, and 9 people's luggage, which still just stood there. And I go up to the guys, I'm like, it's been 2 hours. Can you please get this stuff to our room? We'll get to it. It's like, no, you fucking get to it now. Okay? No, I'm reading my script. I say, I don't give a shit about your script, mate.
Funny.
Okay, you can come back and read your script later. But there's all this stuff here that you need to sort out. This is your job. This is what you're here to do, and you're getting paid to do. So fucking do it now.
That's quite odd for the US. They're pretty on top of customer service normally.
Most of the time, but these guys are just slack as shit, man. And yeah, I think from there I just kind of lost my taste for Los Angeles a little bit. We had a good time there, though. I mean, we had a really good time. A good friend of mine, because we had a week off there, we stayed for about 4 days. We stayed there. James flew back to UK for a wedding, so we were just there drinking, having a good time. And a good friend of mine lives. They live there, but they live in Venice Beach.
Venice Beach, yeah.
Brian Auger, the Hammond organ player.
No, I don't think so.
He's a Englishman, lives in Los Angeles, but his son is also his drummer. He's a good friend of mine, Karma Auger. Yeah. So we had the Saturday off, and we went to his house and had a barbecue and stuff in Venice Beach. Yeah. So we had some good times there. But I think just the whole everybody wants to be an actor, man. Yeah. It just kind of got to me a little bit, and the too much laid backness. But New York is a really fun place.
It is, yeah. I mean, I like it. I've got respect for New York because sometimes it's kicked my ass.
Oh yeah.
I've had some hard time. I lost my passport once, but then
I left my passport in New York.
And it was the last night I was staying in a hostel, but I still had a couple of nights in the city, and I was phoning around all these places. They were like, "We can't give you a room without an ID." So literally, there was a point where I was like, "I'm going to be on the street." Because I was there on my own, yeah. And so I was, I'd already kind of like got the number for the embassy, and then I phoned up the original hostel that I was staying in. It was like the worst afternoon, and they were like, "Oh, Simba Bhebhe, we think we found your passport. It'd fallen down the back of the locker." So I've had like these roller coaster moments in New York, like quite a few of them. So I'm kind of like, it's kicked my ass a few times, but I've also had some of the best times.
But testament to you, getting through it, and just persevering and making the best of it. And luckily, you can laugh about it now.
Yeah,
I left my fucking passport in New York as well. We did a gig. When we arrived, we did a gig in New York, and then the next day we did a gig in New Jersey, in Asbury Park. And then we were going to drive straight to Montreal. Yeah. Luckily, the drive goes past New York, the city.
Oh, gee, yeah, wow.
And as we leave Asbury Park to drive to Montreal, I'm like, I can't find my fucking passport, guys.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw it? Oh, yes, I left it in the lockbox in the hotel in New York. We phoned them up. Oh, we need to verify. It's like, not fucking verify nothing.
Yeah.
I show up, face in the passport.
Yeah, same person, yeah.
Give it now. At first, they didn't want to go look for it, and then the manager got on there and he's like, listen, find this fucking passport, please.
Yeah.
And so they did,
Harry.
luckily.
Harry.
I had a great time in Montreal. super stoned. The Canada weed is very, very potent. Yeah. Something I wanted to ask you about. You've recently had a bit of a health conundrum. You had a collapsed lung. How are you? Is everything okay?
Yeah, I mean, there's always like some people never have one again. Some people end up having like 2 or 3 years. So I don't know really, but I'm fine.
You're fine
now.
And,
I feel okay.
Breathing's
now.
fine.
Yeah.
Great. I'm really glad to hear that.
Pretty wild.
Yeah. Wow. That was. And you say you. How did it happen?
I was just lying in bed on a Sunday morning, and then I actually.
Were you working the night before?
Yeah, it was the night after the hand Hootie.
Okay.
Yeah. So I actually thought it was a sprained muscle in my chest from like moving backline around that it just kind of kicked in, and then so I thought it would go after a couple of days. I actually went to work with a collapsed lung. Like it was only on a Wednesday night when I finished work at Ronnie's. I just stayed on the bus to the hospital because I was like, this feels weird.
Yeah.
And then
were you short of breath?
Yeah, well, I started coughing and I couldn't stop. And it's all like pain in my chest that hadn't gone. And so I went to the hospital and they x-rayed me and like my whole right lung was just, yeah.
And how did they fix that? Did they just stick a tube in your throat?
No. They slice you there and they stick a tube in.
Stick to... reinflate it.
Yeah.
Because once it's very mucus. I read up about it a little bit when your situation happened. So what happens with there's always a danger the first few days after because your lung is so mucus rich, it sticks together. And then it's really difficult for them to separate it in the first place. And there's always so because on the inside. It's basically like filled with snot.
Yeah.
And it's so sticky, and that's why you can't reinflate it yourself because the sides stick to each other. Yeah. I don't know if I'm right here, but this is what I read. And so they got to get it in there and they got to reinflate it. And then did they give you any breathing exercises or any?
It's painful. It was painful to breathe. So it was more a case of, can you take a deep breath and, it's hard.
So they didn't give you any exercises to do afterwards? No rehab?
Well, just like, I guess, actually, the guy did come in until like, just breathing in and out. Blow into
a pipe or something like that?
No, just breathing in and out, really. Yeah. And then I think someone did show me some physio things. But it was generally sort of like taking a deep breath, holding it, and then breathing out. It was really basic stuff. Oh, wow. It was pretty gnarly though.
I bet, man. It must have been scary as well.
Yeah. No, my girlfriend was amazing. She was there pretty much every day.
It was a good thing.
So yeah.
Otherwise, maybe get someone else. No, I'm only kidding. But I think when I was reading through these things, one of the exercises that you should do, or that they should have told you to do, is if you take a deep breath and then you blow as hard as you can through like a really tight little pipe or something, so your lung strains to get all that air out, to strengthen the muscles of the lung. Don't know if that is a thing, but again, that's what I read.
They told me just to kind of keep active, just get back to work.
Right. Good. Start jogging. Marathons and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Get fit, son. Brilliant, man. That's lovely. Well, have you got anything that you wanna add? I'm gonna. What I've been doing is, at the end, in the comments, I'll share your LinkedIn or all the social media that you're happy to share. If people want to get in contact with you. Okay. But we'll put that in the description afterwards.
Okay, cool. And
I don't know. Is there anything that you've got coming up that's exciting? Any fun gigs?
I don't know. When is this going to be going out?
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now. Benin City. We're playing a free show at the Bermondsey Social Club on the 3rd of December. 3rd of December. They're a great band. Okay. That's kind of the next show coming up, and there'll be more stuff in the new year from Francobollo. Yeah, just starting to talk to labels about their second album, like this week.
Amazing.
Great.
Yeah,
bits and bobs happening.
Fantastic.
And check out through the socials, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Much appreciated. I really do appreciate you coming in and having a chat. It was fun.
Yeah, good fun.
And we'll do it again.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cheers.
Nice. Cheers, mate.
Bye. Right. Well, there we have it, folks. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I have. Lots of interesting stories to come out of that, and just the point that I keep repeating is perseverance and determination. If you're going to make it in this wonderful world of music, you got to put yourself out there and be willing to do the work. As always, I will be including links in the description where you can get a hold of Simba and everybody else that I've interviewed so far, and the people that I will be in the future will be in the future descriptions. Please, if you like this podcast, subscribe, like, share, do with it what you want. Thank you very much, and till next time.